of a thing is that? No, of course not. But I do want to talk to you.
Look, I just want to get...
got the dandiest notion. Clipped an article out of the school paper, from your college. Jeff, we're going to get you a better job.
Now, look, I read the article. I don't want the position.
Well, you haven't given it as much thought as I have. We got to think about Alice, Jeff. Your future. Alice has been a good wife to you. She's gone without. She has put up with our limited means. But head of the department, it's a wonderful opportunity, and the salary is $2,800 a year more than we're making now.
Not interested.
$2,800. It still only brings your payments to $185 a month, son.
No.
Jeff, you've got to consider it. Now, look, you're eligible for the advancement. You've passed up better positions twice now, son.
No. It means opening up my records. As long as I stay just what I am, nobody cares what I've been.
Jeff. It's odd. I don't have anybody scheduled. Jeff, would you mind stepping over here into the kitchen, please, and waiting just a few minutes? Yep.
Mr. Dayton?
That's right, sir.
Foreman.
I never met Dr. Borman, but he's 58 years old. You're not. I made it very clear to Dr. Borman he was to come in person. This is a confidential relationship. You got a tape recorder in that briefcase?
I'll take the file.
All right. Just put the gun away. I'll get it.
Cop, huh? Dayton was a cop.
Yeah, he was on the beat when I was. In 1959, he took a bullet in the gut in the liquor store holdup. Drew light duty after that.
Let me guess, records, right?
Mm-hmm, you guessed right, records. 4 years ago, Internal Affairs got wind of something, and he resigned under pressure. Steve, take a look at this. Newspaper clippings, right up to date on everybody that he's had a record of. My guess is that he nailed everyone who was beginning to make it.
Blackmail.
Mm-hmm, blackmail. I wonder what it is that makes a guy go wrong.
You know somebody tore off today's date already?
Say, maybe the lab can make something from the impressions.
Mike, how about it? Can we roll with the body now?
Yeah, thanks, Doc.
Fellas are finished with the pictures and the measurements.
That bullet's been pried out. Check the others, will you, buddy boy?
Think this one's still in here. Yeah. Charlie, you gonna be able to pull this one out?
Yeah, we'll get it. Lieutenant? Yeah. You might want to have a look at the kitchen floor before we scrape it. We've got some blood evidence in there.
But Dayton died over here. What's blood doing in the kitchen? This the only place?
No, there's some more by the rear door. He must have gone out that way.
Wait a minute. Where's the slug that came through this door?
You got me. We have a clean hole, obvious entry and exit, and the bullet got lost.
What do you mean, got lost? Bullets don't get lost.
Maybe it spent and fell.
Now we've checked the entire floor.
Then there must have been a third person. Someone was here, got hit, and got out with our bullet.
We got ourselves a witness.
Better than that, we've got a witness with a bullet in.
Could have been somebody who worked for him.
Could be. Or somebody who's got an appointment on this calendar.
I'm home.
Oliver Lake was here. The young boy that you were supposed to tutor at 1:15.
So I blew $10.
Well, that's a great attitude. That's really great. I'm going to the market.
Uh-huh.
Did you cash a check yesterday?
What?
I said, did you cash it? I'll be at the store. Jeff, would you come out, please?
I'll see you when you get back.
I think we better talk.
Not now.
Now. It's just too much money, Jeff. Well, for too long a time.
Alice. Later. Okay. Later.
Jeff, if it's someone else, then tell me. Oh, you have to. What happened?
I'm not sure what happened. There's a bullet in my shoulder.
I'll get Phil.
No! Doctors have to report gunshot wounds, Alice.
But you need medical attention. You can't live with a bullet in your shoulder.
Well, I'll just have to try.
Phillips, what does that say, Phillips?
Phillips, Williams, Borman.
Phillips, Williams, and Borman, huh? Good. How about the blood?
The blood scrapings from the kitchen floor are type AB.
Well, is that common or uncommon? What?
Rare. 4% of the population.
4%.
Charlie, what about the bullet they dug out of the wall in the study?
Yeah, what about that?
38 police positive. We ran it against Dayton's gun and got a match. 1 cartridge fired.
Dayton shot once, the killer shot twice. The witness's blood is AB. Good. Let's run this type against the 3 names.
Looks like a cop finally found a way to zap the policeman's pension fund.
That's not funny, Johnson. You know what the papers and TV would do with that, don't you?
I'm sorry,
Well,
Mike.
it's just not funny. Now we got 3 names, 1 blood type against 3 possibles. That's Phillips. We'll let Healy and Lessing take him. Then there's Borman and, who's that?
Williams.
Williams. Borman and Williams. We'll take those 2.
You think we're really on solid ground with this Dayton blackmail thing?
Gotta be. His books have him dragging down over $40,000 last year.
$40,000.
40,000 in dribs and drabs, $100 a month here, $200 there, and the topper is there's no record of him paying any income tax. Hey, Dan, got the coroner's report?
Being typed. I'll pick it up in 10 minutes.
Let me have what you've got on Phillips and Williams.
I'm just looking through this stuff at Dayton's. Looks like a cop finally found a way to make a decent living.
Dan, it's 5 minutes to the coroner's office and 5 minutes back. That's 10 minutes.
Okay, Mike.
And on the way, check at the desk and find out if any doctors called in on gunshot wounds.
Right.
Phillips, Albert A. Conviction of child molestation, 63 to year Chino. Probation concluded in 66.
Put Lessing on it.
Right. Williams, Jeffrey David. Murder 2. Conviction 1943.
I was just 18 then. Didn't even have my driver's license yet. I was sitting in the car waiting. I heard the shots from inside the gas station. 3 shots. Jimmy ran out, jumped in the car, and we drove up. Is there any of that bourbon left, Alice? I could use something.
Of course, I'll get it.
Well, we sideswiped another car a few miles away. A police car took off after us. Jimmy lost control. We ran off the road, turned over. Jimmy was killed. I was arrested.
And you had nothing to do with the shooting.
Pretty hard to deny it. I needed a fix as badly as Jimmy did.
What?
I was an addict, Alice. Almost 2 years then. Before it was fashionable. Anyway, the gun was found in the car, and the money from the gas station register. It was an easy conviction.
How long were you in prison?
4 years. Another 8 on probation.
It's hard to believe all of this.
Well, maybe it shaped me up. Turned me around, anyway. I stayed straight, went after a degree, got my master's. Then Harley Richards put his neck on the line for me. Junkies with felony convictions are not highly regarded by college administrators, but he was determined to have me in his department, and being dean of the college, he kept my records closed. No one there knew about my conviction.
I see. No wonder you were so upset when he died. But then, this man, Dayton, when did he first start calling you?
About 6 years ago, just when it looked like I was going to start making it. There was some conjecture in the college paper about offering me a full professorship.
But you didn't accept. Of course. Of course, that's why you never accepted. Because you were afraid of what the regents might find out. But that it had nothing to do with my being too ambitious or your being afraid of facing responsibility. Oh, darling, I've said such awful things to you. I'm so sorry.
No, Alice, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't tell you a long time ago. For all the money that went to Dayton, money that should have been yours. All the nice things I wanted you to have.
It doesn't matter. It's over now, All over. Now we just have to get you to a doctor.
No.
Oh, yes, we
Alice,
will.
I'm not going to throw it all away now. Maybe later, when we can get away. After final exams, we can go somewhere and have the bullet taken out. Later.
You know, Mike, there's no record of payment on this guy Borman. Last name on the ledger, today's date.
Never kicked in any money, huh?
There's no appointments with him in Dayton's calendar up until now either.
I couldn't find a dirt file on him.
Coroner's report. Hey, Mike, that stuff I said before about Dayton.
Forget it, Dan. Just forget it. But if by any chance you're thinking of moonlighting out of R&I, just remember that Dayton got his last payment in one lump sum.
Well, if the end of that finger is either 22 or 32 caliber, that'd make it about right. Coroner says that Dayton was killed instantly, single gunshot wound, apparently 22 to 32 caliber bullet. Even though the slug wasn't recovered, he figures by the clean exit it was a steel jacket.
How much money do you have on the body?
530 cash, another 100 and a half in plain envelope.
Time of death?
Between 11:30 and 1:30. Got a suspect?
Yeah. Dr. Marvin Borman.
Spell it out.
Manslaughter, drunk driving, 59, did 11 months in probation. But listen to this, 63, conspiracy to commit assault and battery. Borman hired a Jerry Casey to commit assault on Gordon Dawson, a man who threatened to bring malpractice charges.
Number one. He's our number one. A guy with a record. He's due for his first appointment with a blackmailer, but he doesn't go in with cash, he goes in with a gun. Come on, buddy boy. We got our first house call to make.
Room 105, please.
Doctor?
Yes.
You're late.
I had a patient in labor. I'm sorry. It was a difficult delivery.
Mine wasn't. Your file's here, and I want the balance on account.
Meet me in 45 minutes at the base of the cross on Twin Peaks.
Just a minute. Yes. Have them wait outside, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Problem, Doctor?
Do you know any reason why the police should be here?
No, do you? 45 minutes, Doctor.
Yes?
Lieutenant Stone, this is Inspector Keller. I believe you knew a James Dayton.
No, I don't think I do.
Well, that's very strange because you had a 2 o'clock appointment with him today.
Gentlemen, I don't know what this is about, but I'm pretty certain that I can prove that I was at my hospital from 10 o'clock this morning till just a few moments ago. And I never met this man, I'm sure. Never.
Well, how about phone calls? Did he call you to discuss your prison record?
No.
Dr. Borman, may I ask you your blood type?
No, you may not ask me my blood type.
Well, do you object to being examined by a police physician?
Yes, I object very strenuously, just as strenuously as I object to these insinuations. Now, if I'm a suspect, I'm entitled to counsel. Isn't that the truth?
That is the truth, Dr. Borman. And you know, I think that you were probably in your hospital when Dayton was killed. And I tell you what else I think. I think that you hired someone to deal with a blackmailer.
That is not true.
Here, let me throw that away for you.
Wait, no, that's mine. Give me...
I'm sorry. I thought you were through with it by now.
When can I call my attorney?
As soon as we've got you booked. Now, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be held against you in the court of law.
Mike, it's the Capri Motel. Piece of paper said room 105.
Can you describe him for us?
Yes, I'd say he's about 40, 6'2", graying hair, nice looking.
Smith.
Yes, sir, that's the name on the register.
Phone calls?
No locals. One long distance. Kansas City, I think.
Would you have a record of that call? Possibly the name?
Yes, I certainly do. The number, anyway. Shall I get the book?
It would be very helpful. Thank you, please.
Kansas City newspaper. Magazines. Mike, look at this.
Compartment?
Two cartridges fired. I think we just scored.
Scored? Nah. We're not even within field goal range.
I guess you're right, circumstantial. But if that bullet matches the gun...
Good as an eyewitness. I just hope he doesn't know about our third man, because if he does, there goes our ball game.
He's gonna be looking for that bullet, too.
Get this wrapped up quick. Call a stakeout unit. If he shows, nail him on the spot.
See, we found a full set of his books. And also there was $150 in an envelope in Dayton's pocket.
I have nothing to say, Inspector, except that I didn't kill him.
I believe that. But I think you were there behind that kitchen door.
Your blood type's AB, Mr. Williams, was on your record. It was also on the kitchen floor.
Mr. Williams, we have the gun that we think killed Dayton. And that bullet could tie it all together for us.
I'm sorry, Lieutenant.
You know you can be subpoenaed.
If you have a case. But you need the bullet for that, don't you?
Mr. Williams, I can understand how you feel and why you'd like to keep it quiet and to yourself, but you do understand, don't you? That you could die with your secret.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean that Mr. Williams...
The man who shot Dayton has the original calendar page. And if we can find your husband, so can he.
If he's fool enough to stay around looking, I think he'd want to be as far away as possible, as quickly as he could get there.
Well, he's a pro. And pros aren't in the habit of leaving loose ends, and you're a loose end.
It's a very good deduction, Lieutenant, but just theory.
Lieutenant, could I just have a minute alone with my husband?
I don't have a minute, Mrs. Williams, and I don't think your husband does either. I don't want the coroner to give me that bullet. I want it from him right now, so come along. We're going to the hospital.
I don't think so, Lieutenant. You don't have that authority. You're a policeman. I shouldn't have to tell you the law.
The law?
I did some checking, and it seems that among our other personal guarantees in this country is the guarantee that our bodies are inviolate. Not even the Supreme Court can force a man to submit to a surgical operation. That's the law, gentlemen. And I'm sure that as officers sworn to uphold it, you won't do anything to make me break it.
Did you get a hold of the DA?
And Judge Carlson, I got a unanimous verdict.
Williams was right.
The rights of homo corpus, man's body, are inviolate. Mike, we can't touch him.
Homo corpus, huh? Great.
No way to break him.
Not the way I read it. The man we're talking about has coughed up almost $10,000. He had to live with this pressure for almost 6 years.
Yep, that'd make him pretty hard, all right.
Yeah, too hard to break just because he's got a bullet in his arm. I guess that makes our job much easier, doesn't it? All we've got to do is find the killer.
Well, maybe Kansas City will come through.
Yeah, did you get word yet?
Yeah, the number's listed to a guy named Sid Winters. He's a big honcho in the local rackets. They're pulling photos on guys he runs with that fits our description.
Let me brighten your day, Lieutenant. The lab says the gun you brought in could be the murder weapon. Those 2 shells were high-velocity load, and both bullets did wear steel jackets.
Terrific. That means the bullet in Williams' shoulder could do it for us.
Williams, that's the second guy on the list, right?
That's right.
He took the slug?
Yeah, he took it right out of the case.
What?
The rights of homo corpus. You can't cut a man open if he doesn't want to be cut open. So, Mr. Sunshine, what else you got to brighten my day?
How about that? Not much. I did see the other fellow, Phillips. He was there just like the calendar said, 12 o'clock sharp, got hustled right out. Apparently, Dayton liked to keep everybody apart, didn't want anybody to see anybody else. Kind of like a shrink, you know?
Did you check out the Phillips story?
He says he went straight to a business meeting. Lessing's on it now. You got this Borman in the tank, don't you?
We got nothing without the bullet. Borman won't talk, and Williams won't talk either.
Oh, Lieutenant, Kansas City just called. They're sending in a picture. Coming through, Casey.
Well, that looks like the man the motel manager described.
Yeah, we'll get it under her nose for a positive.
How you doing, Kansas City? Good, good. This is Inspector Keller. We have some prints we want to check against this man. What's his name? Coyle, Victor Ray. That's C-O-Y-L-E? Right. Well, could you send us his full jacket, please, and maybe run another one of these through? Thank you. We're putting out an APB. Suspicion of murder.
Yes? Would you come with me, please?
What for?
Just a few questions.
Police?
That's right. Any place that's private, we... Oh, this is fine.
Hey, what's going on? I told you, fellas, I didn't see anybody.
Move it.
I haven't seen any ID.
Who are you? Inside.
Seems we're late again. I apologize for keeping you past the hour, but I think the extra review will reflect itself favorably in your blue books next week. This will only take a minute. I'd hoped I'd made myself clear, Lieutenant. I guess I don't use the language as effectively as I thought.
It's my turn to be clear, Mr. Williams. The man that you won't help us find just killed somebody else.
First name on the list, Albert Phillips.
He stripped him to the waist after he shot him. Does that tell you anything?
He wants that bullet, Mr. Williams. He knows it can convict him.
No.
No, what do you mean, no? Phillips is dead and you're next on that list.
I can't make a public testimony.
Well, you don't make sense. You know that, Mr. Williams? You don't make any sense at all.
Now, if the lead in that bullet doesn't kill you, the next one will because it's going to be right on target.
But if I give it to you, what kind of a target will I be, Lieutenant? Now, it's a standoff, gentlemen. You can't use coercion by the school authorities, and you can't give it to the press. That'd be harassment. So, wait here a moment.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Let's see, there was really only one other thing I wanted to touch on, I guess. You remember our discussion of Ezra Pound?
He's a poet. I know.
I'm sorry. You're also impressed with his erudition, his easy use of recondite images.
Something like a Tokyo Rose, right? See, I told you, I know.
You marvel at this contemporary man's command of the classics, the prodigious amount of work, the undeniable genius. And you all agreed that he was more than deserving of his rank as one of the greatest American poets of the 20th century.
Did you ever read any of his poetry? Who has time to read any of his poetry? I barely have time to read booking slips.
And yet this man was denied that reputation in his own country. Why? Mr. Miller?
Some people thought he was a traitor.
Some people?
Most people, I guess.
No guess, Mr. Miller. Truth. And why?
The propaganda broadcast he did for the enemy during World War II.
Right. An action which people could not forgive. And what does this tell us about people? Mr. Guerra?
Don't know.
Well, let me bring it a little closer to home. Some of you have found enough in this class to enroll with me for the American novel. But what if you discovered that I had a criminal record?
It's criminal when you hand out those low grades, man.
Well, think about it. Suppose that at one time I had been a junkie.
Pretty heavy fiction.
Let me lay it on a little heavier. What if I had been involved in a killing, had actually been found guilty of murder? Would it still be the same between us? Or would you find yourself saying, this man who pleads for ethical conduct, for scrupulous morality, who demands that I plumb the depths of my ability to reason, this same man has been found guilty by society of having acted without reason? Would you say to yourself, why should I listen to him? Mr. Miller?
I'd have to think about that. Yeah.
And what about the Regents? Would they think about it?
Forget it, baby. School's out.
I guess the point can't be made any more succinctly than that. What a man is or does in private becomes a part of his public image. Good or bad, it's on the record. And whether that's good or bad, I leave you to think about. Well, that's it. Except that it's been a pleasure having you all this semester. Good luck on the finals. Maybe we could get out of here, all right? Understand a little better now?
Oh, yeah, that routine about a man's private life and his public image being one. I knew that all the time. But, the way those kids reacted, especially at the end, that tells me a lot I didn't know.
That's tradition.
No, sir, no way. That's respect. Hard earned. Yeah. Listen, I remember more than one very long silence at the end of the semester.
I guess we did get along rather well.
Hi, Mr. Williams.
Hello, John.
That means more to you than staying alive, doesn't it?
Yes, that is my life, Lieutenant. Digging, probing, watching them take hold of an idea, taking it further than I knew it could go, loving it.
And loving you for helping.
If you read my file, you know I went a long way without any help. A long way in the wrong direction. What I can give now makes up for that.
Let's get you to a hospital.
No, I'm going to be all right. If you'll excuse me, there's some papers I have to get out of my office.
Mr. Williams, there's one thing you said in your class. You being someone who demands ethics and morals from other people. Now, how are you able to equate that with allowing a killer to run loose?
From what you've told me, Inspector, the killer is interested in only one person now. Now, if that's true and I'm the only one who stands to be hurt by it, that's a risk I'm willing to take.
Okay, if he won't keep up his guard, we're going to have to do it for him. Let's get on the box. Tell him we're staying with him, and we'll get a stakeout unit for the house.
Mrs. Williams. Get in. I have your husband, Mrs. Williams. You want to see him again, alive. Get in.
Alice? Alice? Hello?
Jeff,
Alice, I didn't know you'd gone out.
I went to the store, Jeff, and...
Mr. Williams, I have your wife.
Get an ambulance.
The man called. The man who shot Dayton. He's got my wife.
What did he tell you to do, Mr. Williams?
Downtown. Corner of Jones and Geary. I stand on the corner. 7 o'clock. He's got Alice.
Tell me this. Did you see a man at Dayton's? Can you describe him? 6'2", 40, graying hair?
He said he'd kill her.
Don't worry, we'll take care of it for you.
Please, be very careful.
We will, Mr. Williams, we will. But do you give the doctor permission to take the bullet out?
Stay to the right and slow. Is that him?
I can't tell.
If it is your husband, stop. If it isn't, just keep going. Is it him?
Yes, that's Jeff.
Get in.
You all right, Alice?
Fine. How's the shoulder?
It hurts. Turn right in Geary and go straight, Mrs. Williams. Mr. Williams, sit forward. Go. Go!
Subject vehicle proceeding west on Geary. Do not intercept. Do not apprehend. Alert inspectors 6368, helicopter 1.
Subject vehicle proceeding west on Geary.
Straight ahead to Point Lobos, Miss Williams. Pick it up.
He's moving pretty good now.
Heading out Lobos.
Yeah. Put it on the box.
Subject vehicle proceeding west on Point Lobos Avenue.
When you come to the next turn off, take it. Cut the lights.
Where are we going?
Down the next side road, Mr. Williams.
Get back on that thing, find out what the chopper's got.
This is 8-1. We've lost contact.
Subject vehicle just doused his lights and turned right on next side road west.
I can't see.
You don't have to. We're almost there.
Look, what you wanted was a bullet. That's why I'm here. Now, there's no need to involve my wife.
You're not a well man, Mr. Williams. Don't talk. Pull up here. Just to the right. Out. This side. Both of you. Right on out to the dock.
They're in the open. Let it go.
This is 8-1. Have the helicopter hit it!
guess we're out of the woods, Mrs. Williams. Say, yeah, I think your husband's just getting out of surgery about now.
Mrs. Williams, we have a radio in the car if you want to find out his condition. Right back.
Okay, what's the big mystery?
Mike, how long have you been a detective?
Oh, very funny. Well, now, buddy boy, you've been with me long enough to know that I work one of two ways, right?
Right.
Booze or muscle. Take your choice.
All right, all right. We're going over to William's house for dinner Saturday night, right?
Right.
After dinner, we'll be sipping our brandy, congratulating him on how the Regents decided to keep him on, right?
That's right. We'll be celebrating a man's whole new life.
Exactly.
But since when do you buy brandy in a bookstore?
No. I'm thinking about after the brandy.
After the brandy?
Yeah.
I don't pick up that clue.
I bought you a little present.
What is it?
Open it.
Poems, poetry.
It's Ezra Pound. Remember Williams talking about him at the school?
Yeah, I remember he talked to his class about him.
That's right. That's for you.
What? Oh, now, wait a minute. I can't read this.
Why not?
Listen, raineth drop and staineth slop. Oh, come on now.
Wait a minute. What?
Yeah, raineth drop and staineth slop. Skiddeth bus and sloppeth us. Now, come on. Isn't poetry supposed to be clear and to the point?
That's right.
Well, I've got something to the point and clear for you, young fella.
What is it?
Sit quietly. You have a right to remain silent. Is that clear?
That's clear.
Anything you say can...
All right, I'm coming. Hours like this, I might as well have gone to med school.
Med school, huh? Going's one thing, getting through's another.
Yeah, right now, all I'm worried about is getting through the day without any breakfast. What are we rushing about anyway?
Harbor Patrol dragged in a boat. Looks like some guy on that boat got careless with a spear gun. They want us to check it out.
A fishing party?
No, he was by himself when they spotted it.
What time was that?
Around 7. Spotted by a Japanese freighter.
Was it inbound or outbound?
In.
Better check to see if anybody on board saw anything else.
The captain's name was Tajima. He said there was another boat or a person near it.
You really know how to make a guy feel like a slow starter, don't you?
Well, what do I need with beauty sleep?
You got a name on the victim?
Marshall. Fred Marshall.
Fred Marshall, you're kidding.
Name mean something?
Well, there may be more than one, but the man I'm thinking of's a bigwig in Washington. I think it's the Department of Commerce. The word is he's being groomed for the next senatorial election. Even the man who's stepping down wants him, Ralph Bowen.
How do you keep up with all that stuff?
Interests me. You got any other info?
He's on a boat at the dock. Steel shaft through his heart.
That's him. This wasn't an accident.
How come so fast?
Marshall was, he was a water freak. Half the pictures I ever saw, he was either in a boat or standing in a wetsuit with some world's record fish.
Couldn't he make one mistake?
Not like that, no. No, anybody with his experience would never load a spear gun out of the water.
Well, how about another kind? Let's say the people kind.
Well, the papers never sounded like that. You know, he's good-looking, good speaker, married to the right woman. She was always in the fashion page of the newspaper, on television for some good cause.
You got a knife? Mm-hmm. Here, cut this.
What do you got?
Well, this is all his equipment here. It's all dry.
Well, so's the gun.
Here, shake it. How long does it take for a thing like that to drain?
This has been used today.
Was he in the water, Doc?
No. His hair and his suit is dry.
Probably been wiped from prints, but have the lab take a look at it anyway.
Yes, sir.
We'll also have them lift anything on the ladder here.
Right.
He was from out of town. Say, whose boat was this?
Belongs to Reed Bradshaw.
The shipping guy?
Yes, sir.
Say, didn't you say that Marshall was in Commerce?
He is, yeah.
Okay. Let's find out where he was staying and what he was doing here.
Lap of luxury.
Can't get much classier.
So what's so good about being a doctor? Want to get you better places?
The difference is room service with a suite and wander around the lobby here with a hungry stomach. Come on, let's hit the coffee shop before we go here.
You can't afford it. May I help you, sir?
Yes, would you give this to the manager, please?
What is it?
Search warrant. Please keep your hands right where they are.
I beg your pardon.
Lieutenant, this is Boyd Caldwell, Mr. Marshall's administrative assistant. He has the adjoining suite.
Oh, I see. Thank you very much. If we need anything else, we'll let you know.
Fine.
Lieutenant Stone, homicide. Inspector Keller.
Excuse me, but you do know Mr. Marshall is dead?
Yes. The coroner's office asked me to come down to make an identification.
Something in that stack of papers you need to do that?
These are documents to be presented to an investigating subcommittee of the United States Senate.
Really? Huh? Well, then I think they ought to be left right where they are.
Now, wait a minute.
Mr. Caldwell, we have reason to believe that Marshall's death is not an accident.
That's crazy. Of course it was an accident. Why would anyone want to kill Fred Marshall?
Something in that stack of papers, maybe.
Now, look.
His death was an accident. And I have to have these papers to prepare for the investigating committee of Senator Bowen.
We need everything to be just the way Mr. Marshall left it. Now, there's a court order on its way to seal this room.
One call to Washington, you'll never get it.
You pick up one more paper, and you're going to be arrested for obstruction of justice.
You have no right to intimidate...
You want to hear all about rights? He'll read them to you. Otherwise, maybe you just ought to go back into your own room.
All right, Lieutenant. But these papers and the rest of Mr. Marshall's personal effects will be flown to Washington with his body, probably this afternoon.
The body remains here. Belongs to the city of San Francisco till after the autopsy.
Autopsy?
That's right.
But now, look, we're not talking about some drunk found dead in an alley. Mr. Marshall was a man of substance, a beloved public servant.
Somebody loved him so much that they drilled him with a spear gun.
I do trust you'll phrase that a little more delicately when you discuss this with Mrs. Marshall.
Well, is she here?
She's on an incoming flight. I'm meeting her at the airport at noon.
While you're out there, don't get any ideas about leaving.
And give you free rein to assassinate the character of a dead man. Not likely.
So what do you think?
Well, I think that the City Hall switchboard is going to be in for a very, very good workout.
Yeah. Look at this. Huh? You know that shipbuilder whose boat Marshall was on?
Yeah, Bradshaw?
Yeah. He had a development deal with the government going.
Now, what do you know about contracts?
Just enough to let the DA's office translate them for me.
Okay. Let's get all this stuff over there, have a detail in here for prints. I'll look for Bradshaw, and since you're so interested in politics, why don't you go down to the federal building and have a talk with that, what's his name? The senator. What's his name?
Bowen. Ralph Bowen.
I just don't know what to say, Inspector. That young man was so vigorous, so vibrant. That's just hard to accept somehow. And you're investigating. That means you suspect that Fred's death was deliberate?
Well, I understand your office is investigating too, Senator. Do you have any reason to believe it was deliberate?
Well, are you implying that Fred was involved with anything dishonest?
No, sir. No, we don't have any information like that now. But I was hoping I could discuss the nature
I
of your
handpicked that young man to succeed me in Senate. Do you think I'd put my reputation behind him if I thought he was involved with anything dishonest?
Well, then it wasn't his office that you were investigating.
Well, absolutely not. It was a general investigation into the misuse of public funds, specifically large contracts to industry.
Well, why was it being held in San Francisco?
Well, there's a pilot program going on in this town to create a new kind of merchant ship, one built with new materials and new techniques, a product our technology must create in order to keep pace with low-cost foreign shipyards.
Well, where did Marshall fit in?
Well, the program was administered through his office. He was merely going to give them the department's position on cost-plus contracts with shipbuilders.
Does that include people like Reed Bradshaw?
I'm sorry, Inspector. Now you're getting into confidential matters. A subject for my investigation, not yours.
Marshall was killed on Bradshaw's boat, Senator.
Will you accept some advice, Mr. Keller?
Sure.
Let Fred Marshall rest in peace.
That's exactly the same advice I got from Marshall's assistant.
And with good reason.
I'd like to know them.
Oh, come now. You've seen them all your life. The people love a good smear campaign. They delight in having someone's name dragged through the mud.
And that's the same public that's elected you to Washington all these years, isn't it, Senator? Just seems strange that you, above all people, wouldn't respect their ability to tell the difference between a lie and the truth.
The truth I'm concerned with at the moment, young man, is a threat to an extremely important government program. All I'm saying is that any scandal surrounding the death of Fred Marshall can only destroy the objectivity of the people, no matter how highly we both regard them. Now, you'll have to excuse me. I have a meeting.
Say, where can I find Bradshaw? Excuse me, Mr. Bradshaw?
Yeah.
What if I could see you for a moment? Lieutenant Stone, San Francisco Police.
Be right with you, Lieutenant. You boys see if you can iron this out. I'll be right back. About, Fred Marshall, huh? Something you'd like to know about the boat?
Yes, just a few questions.
Sure. Just thinking. I wasn't down there at all. Been at my elbows and work around here lately. Maybe you'd like to talk to my deckhands.
You keep a crew?
Oh, have to. We got 2 pleasure boats. Let them out to VIPs. You know how it goes. Everybody thinks he's a sailor, right? Booze flows and the boat goes. Snap gets caught in the block at the top of the mast and the prop gets fouled.
Say, excuse me, but I thought that Marshall went out alone.
Well, that's different. Fred was a sailor, you know.
You knew him quite well.
Yeah, but not as well as I'd like to. He was really quite a guy. 1 in 10 million, maybe.
Well, did you know that he went out on the boat this morning?
Yeah, I told him it was his as long as he was in town.
You lent it to him personally?
Comer like that? I made it a point to, Lieutenant. It's good for business.
Well, it's rather touchy, isn't it? I mean, dealing with government business like that?
Well, now, Lieutenant, you did say SFPD, didn't you? Not IRS?
Yes, I did. Homicide.
Homicide?
That's right. I wonder if you'd mind giving me the specifics on that government contract. The one that Marshall's office was administering.
You bet I mind. If I'm right about what I think's going on between the lines here...
What's going on is a homicide investigation.
You really like your job, don't you, Lieutenant? Gun on the hip, instant authority. Come to a place like this, collar the head man, roust him a little, give him a 3rd degree. Pretty heady stuff, isn't it?
Look, Mr.
No, you look. Take a look at all this. I laid everything I had on the line to build it from bankrupt corporation to a big money company while you hid behind the city payrolls. The authority I got, I earned. And I'm not about to stand here and listen to a lot of loaded questions. Somebody who's pulling his clot from my taxes. Now, anything else you want from me, you see my attorney. Unless you've got a warrant for my arrest in your pocket.
I don't need a warrant. But if you want to give me your attorney's name, I think it would be wise if he and I had a talk.
I'll do just that.
You see Bradshaw?
Oh, yeah. He's a big shot. Gave me this.
Big shot lawyer.
Yeah, one of the biggest. Get anything from the senator?
Filibuster.
Politics still interest you?
He gave me such a spiel about a general investigation into the misuse of...
Must be the lady.
If that's the price of being a public figure, I want it.
Yeah, the price can get pretty high in a crowd like that.
I got 2 men inside.
You have?
Yeah.
Do you know, I really think you would have made it through medical school. I really do, huh? Come on.
Yes, the hearings will definitely be postponed. And that's all for now, please. Mrs. Marshall just wants to be alone for a while. I'm sure you can understand that.
Where was Mrs. Marshall when she heard about her husband's death?
All right, Hank.
Fellas, come on.
No more
Let's
pictures.
will you? Let's move it out. Come on,
no more
move it out.
pictures. Get back.
Can we talk for just a minute?
Come on, fellas. Give us a break, will you? Move it back. Let's
Police,
go.
miss,
Move
we'd
it
like to
back,
help you get
fellas.
through.
Carl, come here. That's it. Let's move it.
Anna?
Oh, Mike. Please take me away from here.
Steve.
Yeah.
Check out the suite.
I didn't know. It was... Well, you see, I was just... Well, I don't keep up with the society pages. And Ann Marshall was just a name to me.
Well, thank you anyway. I just couldn't. I just couldn't have faced all those people. It's such a shock. It's so awful. Boyd said you don't believe it was an accident.
I don't know anything yet.
But you suspect something?
Let's talk about it later.
No, I'm all right. I want to know.
Anna, please,
No, I have to know.
Yeah, Mike's talking to her right now. Well, I have one man inside the suite, another man in the lobby, but I'd like to get a couple more before he gets back. Right, okay. Could you tell Mike when he comes back I went to the yacht harbor?
Keller, what's going on? Where do they go?
I don't know any more than you do, Caldwell.
Oh, don't give me that. What's it gonna take with you guys, anyway? You better think about the league you're playing in.
Murder's the same in any league.
Oh, you get off that murder kick. You don't have anything that proves murder.
If you want proof, then you back off. Give us room to do our job. Down, please.
Boyd, we've got to talk.
No, it was an accident. A horrible accident.
An accident? A man used to that kind of equipment?
He had a lot on his mind. He was under a great deal of pressure.
What from?
Michael, please. Couldn't we just drop this?
Well, if I did, somebody else would start digging until all the questions were answered.
Well, if I answered your questions. Could you keep it out of the papers and off of the news?
Well, how can you know what happened?
Michael, Fred was in trouble. He was in a great deal of trouble. He'd taken money. It was all under the table, of course, mass contributions to his political campaign. But it totaled $300,000.
Kickback for a government contract?
No. It was unallocated funds from Commerce to make up for overages on a contract. Oh, it was all very complicated. It was very carefully concealed. Until one of Senator Bowen's investigators found out about it anyway.
$300,000 from Bradshaw.
How did you know that?
Just 2 and 2. Your husband was on his boat.
He'd refused 12 times. But he was talked into it, finally.
By his assistant, Caldwell.
He kept pressing him. He said he owed it to himself and to his country. He said that money would put him in the Senate, would be a springboard. And in 8 years, we'd see him in the White House.
So Bradshaw could have done it?
No. I talked to Fred last night. I was in Los Angeles for a fundraising dinner. He'd been drinking heavily, and he was depressed. He was so depressed. I should have known. I should have realized. He couldn't face it. The disgrace. Bradshaw didn't kill Fred. No one did. He killed himself. I should have been with him. If I had, this never would have happened.
Anna, please. Please, Anna. Don't blame yourself. It wasn't suicide. That much I know.
No, you don't have any proof.
I'll get it.
Michael, release his body. Let him be buried with honor. Couldn't you put it down as an accident? Couldn't you do that for me as a favor?
Anna, I'm sorry. I'm afraid I can't accept favors any more than I can give them.
I don't understand what that means.
just that I'm a cop.
Oh, I know, Michael, I know. You're just doing the job that you have to do. Well, I think I need a mirror. I think I need a minute to myself.
They told me there isn't any night watchman because of those locked gates. So I thought maybe one of you guys might have seen Marshall.
Sorry, man. We crashed early and we rolled out real late.
Well, does Bradshaw let you sleep on the boats every night?
That's part of the package.
It's a pretty good deal, all right. Pretty good. So what about it, Hunter? You see Marshall last night?
Yeah, okay, he was here.
Alone?
Look, man, we dig the job because we don't have to get involved. You know what I mean?
This is a murder investigation. You know what I mean?
Hey, Skip! Telephone! Thanks. Later.
Yeah.
So Stillwell, what about it? Was he alone?
We crashed early and he was gone in the morning when we climbed out.
Yeah. Oh, listen, what's Skip's real name, anyway?
Why?
Well, I need it for my records. You know, they make you type everything now.
Well, he won't like my telling.
He's got one of those weird ones, huh? Yeah, it figures. Anybody with a nickname usually has got something weird on their birth certificate.
Yeah. Yeah, well, his is Newton.
Newton?
Yeah, that's a winner, huh, Newton?
Newton Hunter. I can see why he changed it. Newton. Yours is Terrence?
No, it's just Terry.
Terry, right. Okay. Thanks for your time.
Well, that's it?
Yeah. Take care.
Yeah, right.
'81 to headquarters.
Headquarters 81.
This is Keller. I need a 1029 on the following subjects. Terry Stillwell, Stillwell, and a Newton Hunter, a.k.a. Skip Hunter. Also, could you check an alias on Hunter? Newton Harper, a.k.a. Skip Harper. Thank you.
Okay, but this is it. I mean it. We got gendarmes down here asking me questions, and that's not too cool for me, you know what I mean? And this is gonna cost you, too. Yeah, because my neck is already out there, that's why. Now, you add 2 big ones on top of what you already owe me and get it here tonight. And I don't want to put up with any more sessions like I just had. I'll tell you when later. You tell me where you want me now. Yeah, sure. Yeah, about 10, 12 minutes. I got you. You get that money together.
The Potrero. Driver, stop here. There it is. You know, I've never been back here before.
Here, I'll get it.
There were some good memories here, too, weren't there, Michael? I remember the first day Andy brought you home from school. I thought you were the greatest. Taking time to notice a kid's sister. Treating her like a grown-up, not a pest.
I didn't notice you until Andy showed me that snapshot.
What snapshot?
What, I never told you?
No.
It was during the war, when Andy and I were in the Pacific. Both of us scared stiff, not knowing what we were doing there. And then one day he took this picture from his pocket, and it was a snapshot of your folks and you. It was taken right here on these steps. Do you remember it?
No.
No? Well, anyway, I asked him if I could have half of it, and he started to grin. It was the biggest grin I think I ever saw on his face. And he ripped it in half and gave me the part with you on it. I kept it until the time you sent me the one from Stanford in your cap and gown.
I wish you'd said something, Mike.
No, you didn't want to hear that.
Oh, you're wrong.
No.
No, I wish you had.
No. When I came home, I knew that you wanted to get away from here.
Oh, that's not true.
Yes, it is. It's true. You were always meant for Nob Hill. And you know what? I'll bet you the reason you didn't come back here is because you were afraid you wouldn't get out again. Isn't that right? Huh? I'll bet it is, isn't it? Come on, admit it.
You got out too, Mike.
Not too far.
Oh. Detective lieutenant, that's better than walking the beat, isn't it?
Not always.
I think we better get you back, Mike.
I got you 904. What's happening?
Somebody tried to hit Mrs. Marshall. I'll fill you in later. What about the other units? Are they
Mike,
here?
there aren't any other units.
What do you mean?
I don't know. There's some static at headquarters. Olson took off everybody we have.
Olson? What's his reason?
Mike, we don't know. It could have been reckless driving. So maybe somebody was high. We don't know.
Caldwell hire this driver?
Well, I suppose.
Unless somebody followed us from here, then he's the only one who knew where we were. Get a make, run him through R&I.
Right.
What about your luggage?
It was picked up at the airport.
Steve.
Yeah.
The luggage. Find it and find out who was with it.
Gotcha. May I have your driver's license, please?
I thought I made it clear that this place was off limits.
And I thought I made it clear I don't consider you the highest authority in this city, Lieutenant.
You're the one who got Olson to pull my men out of here.
I'll get him to pull you next.
Boyd, please. Michael is a friend of ours. He's just trying to help.
He's no friend of Fred's. Not with the publicity he's going to get with a murder investigation. I want to speak to you alone, Anne.
She's not going to be alone with anyone for a while.
Michael.
That's the way it's got to be until this thing is cleared up. Yes. Yeah, she's here. It's for you, Senator Bowman.
Hello? Yes, Ralph. Well, thank you. That's very kind. Yes. Oh, this evening? Well, I'm not sure. Oh, certainly. Yes. Well, I'll see you this evening then.
What was that about this evening?
Michael, you must stop this. I have to pick up the pieces and go on. That's what Fred would want. But I can't do it if you insist on treating me like a prisoner. You make everything seem like a never-ending nightmare. Michael, I want to be alone. Please. I need to be alone.
Let's see. No, they haven't come in yet, I guess, sir.
Are you sure she was on a 12 o'clock flight?
No, sir. We have a record of a checkout time this morning, but nothing on her return.
She checked out this morning?
Well, yes, sir. Mrs. Fred Marshall, 8 o'clock flight to L.A. Baggage left here at 6.
Wait a minute. You mean she was here last night, she left this morning, and then came back again?
Well, yes, sir. It's all right here.
How long was she here?
Just last night. We picked up her bags at 11 p.m. Pacific Airlines from Los Angeles. Logged in right here. Those jet setters, they really get around, don't they?
Yeah.
Steve, did you find the luggage?
It's not in yet. I'll have it inspected as soon as it gets here.
What about the driver?
R&I says no record. Look, hang on half a minute. We gotta ask you something. How is it you're so close with someone like Fred Marshall's wife in 8 seconds flat?
Try 8 years in the Potrero.
You're kidding.
Anna Slovatska. Her brother Andy was my best pal. He's buried somewhere in the Pacific.
Well, I guess she must mean something special to you.
Right now, I want to talk to Olson.
No, I'm not telling you to pull back. Just stay cool until you hit something solid.
Look, I'm not making any charges. But I can't look the other way when there are 3 men who are anxious to have this swept under the rug. And a woman who could be the next target just because of what she knows about them.
Well, she doesn't seem too worried. She called just before you got here. Said she didn't want any more protection, no matter what you thought.
Rudy, listen to me. It's because she still thinks that her husband killed himself.
And you can't prove anything else.
Excuse me, Captain. I think we can now.
Coroner's report?
Yeah. Also, I found something interesting on Boyd Caldwell. Went to the Hastings School of Law right here in the city. Look who paid for his education.
Bradshaw Shipyards.
Caldwell worked for Bradshaw as an undergraduate. And to pay off the scholarship, he spent 5 years on the legal staff.
And he's still paying him back. He's the one who put Bradshaw in with Marshall.
It looks that way, yeah?
It looks like murder to the coroner, too. Now, there were no sling welts on the person of the deceased, which would have been the case in the event of a self-inflicted wound. The penetration of the spear in the body of the deceased indicates that it was fired from a distance of at least 5 feet. Now, from the position of the body, this would mean the gun was fired from outside the boat.
Come in, Lee, come in.
Steve?
Yeah.
That mech you asked for and those 2 guys that work for Bradshaw?
Uh-huh.
Looks like you might have something, Mike.
That's it? It's the missing link? You know that guy I told you about, Hunter? That's not his real name. It's Harper, like it said in the toolbox. Wanted Miami, 2 counts of assault. 1 with intent to commit murder.
Bradshaw and Caldwell. Marshall was the witness. They wanted him out of the way. So they give this guy a bonus for a little overtime.
Okay, save it. Hunter?
Inspector? What can we do for you?
You can take a ride with us.
What for? For having two names.
All right, you hold it right there.
How long will that thing keep him down?
No time. It's empty. Look, man, I don't know anything more. I swear I don't. I didn't even know he was going to kill anybody until it was all over with, and then it was too late. I mean, it was over with then, right?
It's not over. Who paid for the killing, Bradshaw?
I don't know. Skip never told me.
Okay, book him.
Hey, wait a minute. Look, there are a couple things I know. If I tell you, will you believe me that I didn't know anything about the killing?
Let's find out.
Well, Skip said that he told whoever it is that he wanted out now, tonight, and he was going to meet him and pick up whatever it is they promised to pay him. But I don't know who, only where.
Where?
China Basin. He was going to take the boat at midnight. Okay, man, I told you about that. Now, you got to believe me about the rest. You gotta!
The jury has to believe you, son. Take him downtown. Let's go.
Buy that?
Well, the kid has no reason to be lying now. Sure puts a lot of kinks into it, though, doesn't it?
Something else I was thinking about. Hunter works for Bradshaw. There's no reason for them to meet in the China Basin in the middle of the night.
You're right. Could be Caldwell.
Or Bowen. But how would he have known Hunter?
Well, maybe we'll get all the answers tonight.
You know, Mike, there's one other kink we gotta work out.
What's that?
Did Ann Marshall happen to tell you where she was this morning?
Annie? Well, she came in on the plane from L.A. at noon.
I know, but the hotel records say that she was in the suite last night, too.
Are you sure?
I double-checked it, Mike. I called the airlines, and they confirmed that an Ann Marshall was on the 11 o'clock flight from L.A. last night, and that someone fitting her description was on the 8 o'clock from SFO this morning.
Well, it doesn't make any sense. What would she be hopping back and forth for? And what has she got to cover up?
I couldn't figure it out either. But it does put her here in town when her husband got it. Now, if you want, I'll arrange things for tonight if you want to talk to her in private.
All right. I lied.
Why?
Because I didn't know what to do. I wanted so much to protect Fred's name and his image. And I saw how determined you were to prove that he was murdered. I felt I had to protect myself.
Did you think that I would suspect you of killing your husband?
I think you would suspect anyone of anything, Michael. Your whole life seems to be made up of suspicions and accusations.
Would I have any reason to suspect you?
I think you'd find reason if you dug deep enough. And I knew you'd dig deeper if you found out I was here when Fred died.
You told me that you had talked to your husband and that he had been drinking heavily. Is that true?
No. I sat here, and I waited for him, but he didn't come back. It wasn't the first time. So I caught a plane back to Los Angeles. I didn't want one of those early morning scenes ever again. And there was a message from Boyd waiting for me. When I got back to my friend's home, you can check it out with them. Their name is Banks. Dr. and Mrs. Paul Banks.
Thanks, Anna.
What for?
Well, the coroner's report had your husband with a normal level of alcohol in his blood when he died.
Michael, what does that prove? That I finally told the truth? Maybe it means that I'm just being clever. Clever enough not to lie about something that I couldn't be sure of. Well, Michael, I'd appreciate it if you left now. I have an engagement tonight with Senator Bowen.
Oh, sure. I'll see you tomorrow.
No, I don't think so. Senator Bowen has arranged for me to leave tomorrow. With or without your permission. Hunter?
No. Mrs. Marshall. Give me the gun.
How did you know?
We didn't. Just knew that Hunter was going to meet someone here. You really would have used this on him, huh?
Yes.
That attempt on your life, you staged that.
I left Mike to make the phone call the second I knew he couldn't change his mind.
And you figured if Mike thought you were a target, he'd never consider you a suspect, right?
I didn't think Fred's death would be investigated in the first place if it looked like an accident. Then, when you did investigate, I tried to suggest suicide, but nothing would stop you. You know, Mike, I underestimated you.
But why your husband?
You wouldn't understand.
Why should you pay the rest of your life for his mistake? Isn't that it? You couldn't divorce him. That would be desertion. That would be the wrong kind of image. But a widow, then you could start all over again. find somebody else to keep you where you have to be.
Don't you judge me. Don't you dare judge me.
Listen, I tell you, I found a new place. It's over on Polk. Pizzas. Fantastic. Also got the largest beer mugs you ever seen. Want to give it a try after I drop the boat off?
My old man used to come in every night, sit at the edge of my bed, and he'd say, every night when the day is over, take a look at yourself. Inside yourself. See what happened. Take a look at the good things and the bad things, especially the bad things, the mistakes. And tomorrow, when the sun comes up, you'll be a smarter man. A lot smarter. Hit me tomorrow, will you, buddy boy? Please.
Fed up, I'm fed up. Fed up, fed up, fed up, fed up, fed up, I'm fed up. Fed up, fed up, fed up, I'm fed up, fed up, I'm fed up with the drugs. Fed up with the fake love, with a gun to my brain, go bang, I'm fed up with the drama. Got a creep for my mama, cause I don't think I'ma live too much longer. Fed up, fed up, fed up, fed up, fed up, I'm fed up. Fed up, fed up, fed up, I'm fed up, fed up, I'm fed up with the drugs. Fed up with the fake love, with a gun to my brain, go bang, I'm fed up with the drama. Got a creep for my mama, cause I don't think I'ma live too much longer. I'm fed up with the fame, I'm sick of reading my name in any other way that I intended. Fed up with all of these motherfuckers misunderstanding me. I'm fed up with the ones that try and say you a fan of me, but then they turn it back and motherfuckers abandon me. You think I'm
Oh, Mike, I don't want to have any of that imitation lemonade.
Hey, neither do I.
Oh.
Are you all right?
I was just thinking of Musetta's Waltz. That has to be my favorite aria.
Yeah, for me, it's a deal.
Well, that's the best moment in the fourth act.
Third act.
Now, wait a minute, Mike. I practically had to drag you here. Now you tell me after all these years you're an opera buff?
Well, I guess there's some things that people don't know about me.
I guess I should try to find out.
Pardon me, sir. Were you in seat L22?
Yes, I was.
Well, there's a phone call for you from the police department. You can get it on that phone if you'd like.
Never fails. Lieutenant Stone. It's for you.
Sorry, old habits. I left word, too. Inspector Martin. Yes, Dave. Well, what's the address? Right. All right, I'll be there in about 10 minutes. It's my cat burglar case. We'll get him this time. I'll get a cab.
No. No, not at all. I'll take you. Come on. Let's get our coats.
Lieutenant, transfer over from burglary?
No, busman's holiday. Inspector Martin's in charge of this one.
Irene Martin, burglary.
Yes, ma'am. These are the residents, Mr. and Mrs. Davis.
How do you do?
Can you give us a rundown on what happened?
Well, we've already told the officer here. We got back early from the theater, and when my wife went to put her jewelry in the desk safe, it was open, cleaned up.
Can you describe what's missing?
Well, I had about $1,000, and my wife had some other jewelry. We'll have to check the list in the safe deposit box at the bank to be positive.
Well, I'd appreciate it if you could get that information to us as soon as you can.
Sure.
No service entrance?
No, the building has 24-hour security, and there's no way in from the street.
Okay, finish up your report and get a copy to me as soon as you can in the morning.
Yes, ma'am.
Door's been jimmied, right?
Mm-hmm. Your man looks like a real pro, hardly a scratch.
Well, he's a pro, all right. My cat never leaves any fingerprints. Let's see, about 10 stories down and 2 floors up. And there's no fire escape on this side of the building.
Well, what does he do? Use a helicopter?
Almost. How would you like to take a little stroll under the stars?
On the roof?
Mm-hmm.
This is our date. Let me use your flashlight, will you?
Mike, that's where he must have started, up there, and rappelled down to this roof here. And the study windows are about here somewhere. Now, I'll bet he found a way to anchor a wire or a rope to these pipes right here. And then pull the wire across up through here. See, now, come here. Now, he had the wire on the pipes, and then he went across. I guess I better stop reading those old Wonder Woman comics. I ought to know that I can't see in the dark.
Sure.
I must look over those study windows. Look, Mike, right here. This is where he went over. A Birdman, that's what he is. Comes and goes like a phantom. He never leaves me a single thing to go on.
You sound like a fan.
Maybe I am. And sooner or later, he's going to make a mistake. Well, Mike, I'm sorry about the opera, but well, I'm going to be stuck here most of the night.
We're together, aren't we? Under the stars.
And you're some date, Lieutenant.
Here you go, sunshine.
Not so loud, you wake me up.
I told you not to go out with cops. They keep you out late.
That's what I keep telling all your girlfriends.
I'm up late, but I'm not out.
Oh, I hope your tip is as hot as this coffee. So far, it's been a bust.
You want to call it quits?
No, sir. No, sirree. I want old Cora more than I want my beauty sleep, I'll tell you that. You saw the mutilated body, didn't you?
Yeah. Took him 3 hours to die.
Listen, are you sure that rust bucket is the only one shipping out today?
Yeah. Guy I talked to said he's got forged maritime papers.
Oh, boy, there ought to be a law against stakeouts, especially at the break of dawn. There he is. Oh, Cora. All right, hold it, O'Cora.
Just a born show-off, Mike.
Get up there.
Boy, you haven't made that for a long time.
Well, it's too much trouble for one.
Oh. Here, wait a minute. Here, put this ice on it.
No, it's okay.
Oh, come on.
I'm all right. It's
Put the ice on it.
okay. Put the ice on it.
Dad, what's the matter with you? We've cooked special dinners before. I've never seen you so nervous.
Well, this one's different. Irene is kind of, well...
She's more than a friend, I know.
Well, she's not like your mother, but... Well, she's... pretty special.
Well, I figured as much. When you don't talk a lot about a woman, you think a lot of her.
You know, your mother taught me to make this sauce the first year we were married. I feel kind of funny making it for Irene. Dumb, huh?
Look, you can't be a bachelor forever.
I've always had you.
Oh, well, that's not quite the same thing, and you know it. But I'll tell you something. I'm really glad you have Irene now.
Here.
Hi.
Hi. Did you have a nice evening?
Very.
Jeannie gave it her best shot. She brought out all the antiques. Silver, china, crystal, everything.
I noticed. I thought it was supposed to be a casual dinner at home. Why all the fuss?
Well, you were the guest, and...
My. Oh, what's going on?
Irene, there are some things I'm not very good at.
Name one.
Proposing. Well?
Well, I'd like to have some time. I'd like to think about it.
Oh, sure. Take all the time you want.
Yes.
Well, I guess I can't say that you kept me dangling on a string, can I?
No. And there's something else you don't do very well.
What's that?
Propose and drive at the same time. That's my house back there. You're something else.
I talked to Jeannie. She said you were here. Your cat burglar struck again. This time he killed somebody.
Looks like it could have been a full magnum load.
I don't know why they pay me when they have you around, Lieutenant.
Never mind, all
Do you
right.
want to run the autopsy, too?
That's enough. How long has she been dead?
Oh, 2.5 hours.
There we go. Yeah, lady's name was Naomi Greenwood, and that's her sister there, Mrs. Bell.
I know
talked
how
to neighbors,
difficult
the
this
people
is for
across
you,
the
Mrs.
hall
Bell,
didn't hear
but
anything.
do you have any idea where her husband might be reached?
Jerome is in Los Angeles at a sales meeting, and he usually stays at the Bel Air Hotel. I tried calling him earlier, but he wasn't in.
Steve, you see if you can reach him.
Oh, you can use the phone in my apartment.
Well, what have you got?
Not much. Her jewelry box has been rifled. And Mrs. Bell doesn't know what her sister kept in the apartment.
Well, it looks like Mrs. Greenwood went to the mayor's charity ball tonight, came home early, and your cat burglar shot her.
How did you know about the ball?
There was a ticket stub in her purse. Oh, and her wallet is missing. What's wrong?
Well, my cat burglar wouldn't take a wallet.
Well, everything else checks out. Empty apartment, marks on the roof, jimmied window, no clues. Exact M.O.
I know, but he's never killed anybody before. I just don't believe he would.
Well, maybe he was never interrupted before.
Yeah, there's no answer in the Greenwood's room, so I left a message. What's wrong here?
We're just having a slight difference of opinion. I know my man. He's no killer.
There has to be a first time, right?
Mike, it's not him. There's just too much here that's wrong.
Like what?
Well, I don't know yet.
Neither do I yet. So why don't you take care of the robbery, and Steve and I will follow up on homicide. All right?
All right. Mr. Greenwood is on his way here from L.A. We couldn't reach him, but we'll question him as soon as he gets in.
Yeah, come in.
You wanted to see me?
All right, Mike, sit down. Coffee?
No, thanks.
On the Greenwood murder, I think you need a little more help, Mike. Looks like the murderer is the same cat burglar that Martin's been working on. And since she knows more about him than anyone else, I want you two to work together on it.
Well, I have a partner, and we're working on a pretty tough case right now.
Oh, Keller can wrap up the details on the Okura case, and when he's done, he can link up with you again. Until then, you two are a pair.
Greenwood must pay $1,000 a month for this address.
Yeah. Didn't buy him much security, did it?
You don't seem to be very happy that we're working together.
Oh, no, it has nothing to do with you, Irene. It's the Okura case. Steve and I sweated on that one. There's a lot more work involved before we can put him away.
Okay, I know it's an important case for you, but my cat burglar is just as important to me, and I've worked as hard and as many long hours on it.
Is that why you asked him for a transfer?
I didn't ask him. He asked me. Mike, look, I know you're used to working with Steve. And if you'd rather go back with him on the case...
No, wait a minute. We have our orders, haven't we?
Is it because we know each other so well? Sometimes people can't see each other at night and work well together all day. It's like being double married.
We're not married yet, are we?
I just spoke to her yesterday morning. She told me that she was going to the ball. She enjoyed things like that, you know.
Mr. Greenwood, I'm terribly sorry, but we're going to have to ask you some more questions.
Go on.
Do you know of anyone who had a grudge against your wife?
Of course not. That sort of thing doesn't happen anymore, does it?
You'd be surprised. Was your wife seeing anybody else?
No. Why do you ask that?
Well, most murders are committed by someone the victim knew.
But I was told it was a cat burglar.
You were told right. He is the most likely suspect. Irene?
Have you any idea what's missing?
I haven't had much time to think about that sort of thing. But our insurance man has a complete list.
Well, Mr. Greenwood, when you check later, would you let us know if there's anything else missing besides the jewelry?
Excuse me, that phone has been ringing ever since I got in. Hello? Yes. Yes, I would like for you and Ted to help with the funeral. I'm not very good at that sort of thing. Thanks, I appreciate that, Judy.
I think that'll be all for now.
Thank you.
A multi-million-dollar crime lab, and all they can tell us is 32 slugged from an automatic with rifling to the left.
No, we found out something else, too. Here. We found out that your cat burglar didn't kill anybody else with that gun, especially not in the Bay Area. Here, try one of these. They're not too hot. They're really good.
I don't think we're looking for the same man.
You know, you said that.
Mike, I love you, but I think you're wrong. It's the little things. They don't fit. And Mrs. Greenwood's wallet, chicken feed to him, and murder is stupid. My man is clever and too sophisticated.
You know, you actually admire him?
Look, I've been working on this case for 3 solid months. I couldn't know him better if I lived with him.
I could be jealous if I were the jealous type. Irene.
Oh, thank you.
Your clever, sophisticated cat burglar looks like a murderer to me, and I am going to get him. That's why I need all your stakeout teams pulled off.
But you can't. I've had those men out there every night for 2 weeks in the best apartment houses, penthouse roofs.
Well, I need them reassigned to check out all the pawn shops and the fences.
He never fences or pawns any of the jewelry he's ever stolen. At least not in the same town. It's not his pattern.
He's already broken his pattern by killing someone. Now, I want all those men reassigned now.
All right. I'll get them on it.
Yeah, you holding out on me, huh?
What do you mean by that?
What do I mean by that? I just talked to Jeannie on the telephone. How come I gotta hear from her that you two were tying a little knot?
I have to see how things work out. If you'll excuse me, I have to notify some stakeout teams. They have new assignments.
Well, if you were gonna turn in your credentials as a card-carrying bachelor, I couldn't think of a better lady to do it.
Yeah.
Well, what's wrong?
Being a bachelor all those years, I don't know. Maybe I'm not ready for marriage.
Oh, yeah, you're just gonna miss all those nights alone eating meals on the run.
Oh, come on, I didn't mean that. When we're on a date, everything is fine, lovely, beautiful. Once we get in here, I don't know, maybe it's my fault. I just don't know how to handle the situation.
Well, you could learn.
I'm a slow study, remember?
Well, Irene seems to be a very understanding lady. Why don't you talk to her?
Then that's a good idea. I'll do just that. Do you have the report on the Okura case?
Yeah, but I thought you were going to talk to Irene first.
I'm going to work my way up to that this afternoon, but right now I want the file on the Okora case. Sir. Why haven't you pulled those teams in?
Because I haven't had time. I've been going over some of this new information from Chicago and
I
New
just
York.
got through chewing out the fellas for not reporting in.
Mike, listen. Listen, there's a pattern here, a series of unsolved cat burglaries, exactly the way our man works. I want to show...
I am only concerned with one case at the moment, ours, yours and mine. Now let's get on it.
Hollister, this is Inspector Martin. I won't be needing those stakeout teams tonight, but I would like them to start covering all of the pawn shops and known fences in town. Right.
Sure, I was surprised when he brought the stuff in. It's obviously quality. So's this one.
Well, they fit the ID photos the insurance company had of the Greenwoods jewelry, but it doesn't quite tally. There's a man's blue tiger eye ring missing. Did you sell it already?
That stuff wasn't in here an hour before your officers were in here asking about it. You want to see my sales book?
No. Can you describe the man who brought them in?
Of course I can. He goes by here every afternoon. Maybe he kept the ring. I never saw it.
Well, weren't you a little suspicious when what he had was this good?
Inspector, you'd be surprised at the stuff that comes in here. Legitimately.
I want to see the tickets on these.
I got it right here now. I don't know about the name, but the address is phony. Lieutenant, before you jump all over me, I can tell you exactly where you can find this guy.
And where's that?
Where he is every afternoon. The bar down the block.
I know it. I really know it. The only time I find something good. The only time.
How about being a little more specific and telling us where and when you found them, Pinch?
I know it. I was down by the bay. You know, I go down there mornings. I check out the outlet pipes. You know, you find things like pins, watches, you know, stuff.
But this morning it was different.
Well, I went down there about 10 o'clock. I poked around some, and then I saw this rag, this bundle, and I opened it up, and there they were.
Just the jewelry?
Well, no, there was a wallet there. There was only $8 in it. I took the money, and I threw the wallet away.
What about a man's ring, a blue tiger eye?
Wasn't no ring. I missed something, didn't I? I knew it. I missed something, didn't I?
I'll get a man over to check out the place with Pinch. That ring might still be there.
I knew it.
There's an antique jewelry exhibit in the West Wing. How about it?
Jewelry? I thought we promised each other we wouldn't talk about the case tonight.
Have I even mentioned it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, you did. Back there in the Egyptian room. That's all you talked about was the tiger eye rings.
I thought I was rather subliminal. Well, let's see. What about medieval weapons?
Oh, look, Irene. My head is full of culture right now, but right here I'm empty. Really empty. So how about going out and getting a nice midnight snack before I take you home?
Huh. Mike, you're going to have to change.
Suppose I don't want to change.
Well, we all change. I hope we never stop.
Well, how about you changing your mind about the cat burglar being a murderer?
Because he's not. Anybody that good doesn't carry a weapon. Besides, if he did get caught, he wouldn't kill anybody.
Well, maybe he panicked when he saw her. He went to Greenwood's desk, opened the drawer, pulled out a gun, and he shot her.
Was that Greenwood's gun?
Could be. He called me just before I left the office. He said he was checking around. He found out the gun was missing from his desk. So he says it's a .32. It's never been fired.
We've been here all this time, and you waited until now to tell me about the gun.
I didn't want to spoil your fun.
No, no, no. You were just waiting for the right moment to prove me wrong. You had to be right, didn't you, Mike?
What are you talking about? Now, you know me better than that. Look, Irene, this is just one case, one little case.
I thought it was our case, Mike, yours and mine. But you never once really listened to my theory, did you? No. You were just determined to prove there was only one way, your own narrow, plodding way.
Plotting?
Is that the way it's going to be
Did
with
you say
us?
I was
You
plotting?
called it, Mike, and you're the boss. At least on this job.
Irene!
I'll call a cab.
You don't have to call a cab.
Thought you had a date tonight.
Couldn't get the Greenwood case off my mind. Thought I'd go over it again.
Well, you could have taken care of it in the morning. What are you doing here at midnight?
That gun was registered to him, wasn't it?
Yeah. So what happened? Have a little fight?
The cat burglar case. You know, Irene is a sharp, efficient, darn good cop. But boy, is she stubborn.
Yeah. Thank God you're so understanding.
Well, at least I know when to back off and take an objective look at a case.
Oh, yeah, just like with the Malagitti murder, the Curtis case, two classic examples of dead-end leads, and you thought you were right?
I didn't say I was perfect. I'm not. And neither is Irene. Homicide Stone. I got it. That cat burglar again.
We just gotten in from the ballet. And my husband heard a noise up in the bedroom. He went up. There was a shot. And he just fell over. I ran up after him. But the room was dark. I couldn't see the man who shot him.
Excuse me. This is Inspector Martin. She's with the burglary detail. And she works with me.
What have you got?
Same MO as the last time.
But you were sure it was a man?
Oh, yes, definitely. I just got a glimpse of him, but I couldn't give you any idea of his age or height or anything. It all happened so quickly.
Yeah, Mr. Strell, I'm really sorry about all these questions. We're almost finished. Just a couple more. Do you keep a lot of money and jewelry here?
No, we keep very little money. We use credit cards. And our business manager pays all the bills by check. We just keep $20 or $30 for small expenditures.
And what about jewelry?
I checked what I had here. I made a list for you. It's mostly costume jewelry. It's not even insured. The diamond ring, of course, is quite valuable. But with little or no light and Ted walking in on him, I'm sure he didn't have time to be selective.
Thank you very much. If we have any more questions, well, we'll get in touch with you.
I can finish up here if you and I want to split.
Here, I think you should have this.
All right.
I'm sorry. I should have tried to reach you, but the phone rang, Steve was there, and we just rolled out like we always do.
I'm used to getting things secondhand. Mrs. Terrell must be very efficient. This list is quite detailed.
Maybe she's a list maker.
Some people are. Oh, Mike, why don't we forget the argument? The hardest thing in the world to say has to be, I'm sorry, it was my fault. I am, and it was.
It takes two to tango and two to argue. Truce.
Truce.
Now, this one would be beautiful on you. Simple lines and a really elegant material. Listen, why don't we just go in and take a look at some of the models?
I'd like to, Jeannie, but not right now. Look, let's have some lunch, because I got to get back to the office.
I'm sorry, did I upset you somehow?
Oh, no, of course not. I'd love to go shopping with you to look for some gowns, but it's just that I've got this case on my mind.
You know, Dad keeps saying the same thing.
You know, working with Mike has made me see some things in both of us that I'm not quite sure I can handle.
Well, you won't normally be working together.
You have to live together. When you come home tired and mad at the world because some old lady had her Social Security check ripped off on her way to the market, or a young kid OD'd and there's not a lot you can do about it, you still have to live together.
So when I hit a core with everything we had on him, he cracked. Then I talked to the DA, and he thinks we got enough to beat him.
Welcome home.
Thank you, sir.
I want you to get on the Greenwood case as fast as you can.
Okay.
Check ballistics for me, will you?
Right.
Come in.
Mike, I think I finally found our man. The overseas reports that I asked for finally came in. A man using the exact MO was caught in London in 1969. Every detail was the same. James Gillis. He served a 4-year term and was released on good behavior. Dropped out of sight after that. But he is suspected of being the cat burglar who's pulled dozens of jobs in the biggest cities all over the world. He's a real pro.
Just that one arrest?
That's it.
Well, how'd he get busted?
The owner of the apartment came home early and surprised him burglarizing the place. Gillis gave up without a struggle.
Could be. Look at it. Complete description, photos. That man had to case those apartments. And someone had to see him, a doorman, a maintenance man, somebody.
There's one other angle we ought to check out. Where does he get his target information? Mike, the society columns don't tell you who's going to a charity ball or whatever. They tell you who's been.
Yeah, none of the victims were mentioned in the society column before they were hit. I checked on that.
Say, what's your angle?
Limousine service. All the society people use them. But I can't seem to tie it all in.
Pretty good idea. We'll start right there, Steve. I want you to run this through for a positive ID. Look at the mugshots. He may have changed since 1969.
Anything else?
No. Irene and I will do the footwork.
Yeah, it looks as if it could be Jim Henry. How old did you say this picture was?
1969. How long has this man worked for you?
5 months. I'd have to check it to make sure, but that's pretty close.
Is there anything unusual about him?
Well, he knows cars real well. He's got a lot of class. But in my business, that's not unusual. It's expected.
I have a list of the events that your company's been servicing for the last 3 months. Can you find out if this man Henry worked those nights?
I can't be sure until I check, but yeah, it's more than likely. See, stuff like this I put on my best men, and they're the best. Matter of fact, they're going to work the shift tonight.
All right, drop it.
Police. It's a setup. I don't work with a gun.
You knew the victims wouldn't be home because you were chauffeuring them to social events.
Would it be asking too much, Lieutenant, to begin your summation? I'm rather tired.
Well, it won't be long. They're pulling your apartment to pieces right now.
So long as they don't steal anything.
Where's the gun?
I told you I don't use a gun. I've never even had one.
Well, what about these? Do you recognize anything in them?
This diamond set isn't bad. It's old insured. Drill pin is about right. This ring is very low quality.
Is it the blue tiger eye? It's a man's ring. Did you take it for yourself?
My dear lady, have you taken a look at my jewelry? Patek Philippe watch. First quality emerald studs. A discreet diamond ring. Look, I didn't steal this stuff. And I didn't commit murder. There's been enough information printed in the newspapers for anyone to have copied my technique.
Sikolovich, show them our best quality bracelets. Well, I gotta tell you, I don't buy your David Niven for either murder.
Thank you. Well, we're back to scratch, aren't we?
Looks that way.
Yeah, Mike.
Yes, what?
Ballistics just gave out the word the same gun that killed Mrs. Greenwood got Mr. Terrell.
Same gun?
It's an inside job. It's got to be.
Greenwood?
It's his gun. He could read the newspaper, make it look like the cat burglar.
And you couldn't reach him for hours after his wife was killed.
Well, L.A. 60 minutes away. Could have been there and back again.
Okay, but we don't have a motive.
Wait a minute, I've got one. Maybe it's too obvious, but let me try it. See, one wife, one husband are dead. That means it leaves one wife, one husband to carry on.
Well, how did you come by that?
Well, I'd love to say a woman's intuition, but I'd be lying. Remember when we were questioning Greenwood, and he got that telephone call? He mentioned two names, Ted and Judy.
Edward Terrell and his wife, Judith, that's right. Could be. Well, let's talk to Greenwood. Maybe we can break him.
And I'd like another shot at Mrs. Terrell.
You got it. Go ahead and push her hard.
I don't have to explain my movements to you, Lieutenant. I've already explained them.
The hotel said that you checked in on schedule the day your wife was murdered, but we couldn't reach you for hours.
I make a lot of telephone calls in my business, Lieutenant. If you'll check my hotel bill, you will find that I made about 15 long-distance calls that evening. Then I told the switchboard not to put any calls through until after the 11 o'clock sales conference.
Now, let me ask you something else. All your wife's jewelry was found except for a man's tiger eye ring. Was that yours?
Yes, it was. I didn't wear it very often. It wasn't of any great value. I suppose the thief could have thrown it away.
Well, now, that's funny. Because all the expensive stuff was thrown away but that ring.
Well, the hotel record verifies what he said, except 3 of these calls were made to the Terrell's residence.
Yes, that's right. I called Ted.
No, I don't think so. Mr. Terrell was out that evening. We checked on that. I think you probably talked to Mrs. Terrell.
And somewhere in that time, someone took your gun and shot your wife. Now, if it wasn't you...
All right. I should have told you about this before. It's only a suspicion. I don't know.
I think you and Mrs. Terrell were seeing each other, that one of you couldn't get out of your marriage. Now, how's that for openers?
It's close enough. She gave me the tiger eye ring, and she was going to get a divorce. My wife began to be suspicious about what was going on, and she wouldn't have it. I wanted to believe that she had been killed by the thief. And then Judy began to be insistent about my marrying her as soon as her divorce came through. And finally I said no. Then Ted was killed. It had to be Judy.
Say, Irene went to question her, and I told her to push her. How did she get into the apartment?
She had a key. We met there sometimes.
It's busy. You keep trying. Bring him down to headquarters.
Bye. I'm sorry. You were saying something about having good news?
Yes, I think we found your ring. That's the, let's see, the blue tiger eye ring, isn't it?
No, my ring is the diamond cocktail ring.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. The blue tiger eye is a man's ring. Well, here's your list. It's very detailed. You must have been quite calm when you made this out with your husband lying dead upstairs.
Inspector, I had to do something to stay calm so I could help the police. I don't see what this has to do with finding my jewelry.
Well, I want to be absolutely sure about this tally. I understand that you keep most of your things in the security vault downstairs in the manager's office. Let's go down there, shall we?
All right. I'll get the key. I should make you get a search warrant for this.
Well, I can have one brought over in a half an hour.
That won't be necessary. Both the missing rings will be there.
You couldn't throw away the diamond ring. It was too expensive. And the tiger eye...
Had sentimental value. Shall we go? Slide in over behind the wheel. Hurry up! Go.
Are you all right?
What took you so long? Heroes are supposed to arrive on time.
Well, maybe I'm not the hero type.
Well, I'll make an exception.
This is your collar, isn't it?
You bet it is.
No. Everyone is fine. No one was hurt.
How about you?
Not a scratch.
Okay. Listen, I've got some steaks thawed. Why don't you bring Irene home for dinner?
Well, you know, I think she's busy tonight. Maybe some other night. I'll be home in about an hour.
About an hour. See you then.
Goodbye.
Arrest reports. Everything's tied up nice and neat. Judith Terrell gave us a complete confession.
Well, then that makes us both right, doesn't it? Judith confessed, and your cat burglar was charged with theft.
You've always called him my cat burglar. Jealous? Not jealous.
I just don't know. I don't know anything anymore.
Me either.
You too?
Well, you said it once. We're a couple of old workhorses. And we both kind of set and stubborn in our ways. Trouble is, I respect you and I love you. But I'm not one bit sure I can live with you.
I feel the same way. And I don't want to lose you. Too selfish?
No, it's just about right. Because I don't want to lose you either. That's what friends are for. Okay.
Okay, friend.
One more time, come on.
Hey, this is not gonna work.
Huh?
Do it again. Again.
Okay.
Oops. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Attaboy.
Attaboy.
Watch toes.
Good, hold it. Good.
Hey, thank you.
See ya.
Hey, I'm no expert, but aren't you going too slow?
No,
Oh, I thought that you had to work up a sweat, get your heart pumping.
mine pump's okay.
This is my second lap. How many have you done?
33.
You're not even breathing hard. Where are you from?
Here.
Oh, you weren't born here.
No, Austria. But I'm American now. Served in Vietnam.
Hey, can't you even stop?
I stopped once already. Any more wouldn't do me any good.
All right, you're serious about this, aren't you?
It's my body, isn't it?
So?
Well, a person's body is important.
Well, how many more laps does that important body of yours have to make?
2 more?
Well, come on in. I won't hurt you. You sure you don't want some pop?
No thanks, water is fine.
Anti-sugar, huh?
Well, why take something the body doesn't need right now?
You back to that body business again? Here, sit down.
Thank you.
So, you're a bodybuilder. How much do you work out?
4 or 5 hours a day.
Would you wait just 1 minute, please? I want to get this all down so that I don't miss a thing.
Get what down?
Well, you're a body freak, right? Anybody who works out 5 hours a day, I want to know about. Okay, anytime.
Turn this off. Turn that off. And I'm no freak.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Okay. No tape.
I'm just a talker, that's all.
Well, can you talk about yourself without a tape? Really, I want to know, how often do you work out?
Every day.
Would you show me what you look like? Will you? I mean, if you can't talk, you can at least show.
Okay.
You're not kidding, are you? I've never seen anything like it. Up close, I mean. You don't work out easy style like the way you jog.
Oh, no. We work it until it hurts.
Well, what do you do? What's the purpose?
You really want to see?
Uh-huh.
You promise you won't laugh? Because people don't understand.
I promise.
Okay. Do you have some baby oil? It looks better with oil.
Oh, sure.
Many people don't like bodybuilding because they don't understand what it is all about. More people know about it, they all would like it. It's a beautiful philosophy. It's a healthy sport. And It's an art. Now, many people think that we are sculptors. I mean, not with clay, with the body. We sculpt our own body. There's so much to know about bodybuilding. Okay. Okay, first pose is a lat spread. Hey!
Oh, I'm sorry. It just looks so ridiculous.
Well, you told me to show you.
Oh, forgive me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to laugh.
Oh, you're just licking out.
Oh, I told you I was sorry. I didn't mean to laugh.
But you did. You think I'm funny, huh? You think I'm funny?
Well, you got to admit, I mean, when you do that, you look like some big ape or something.
Stop that! Stop this! That's not like it! That's beautiful! It's what the body's supposed to look like! No, I'm not gonna stay so you can laugh at me.
Irene was supposed to meet me at the student union. When she wasn't there, I came here, found her. The coroner said she had a broken neck.
Was her door locked?
Yeah, I have a key, and she had a set of mine. She had a set of mine. Could it have been an accident? Maybe she fell?
No, we're sure somebody else was here.
Yeah, and whoever it was left his prints all over the place. Do you know that there's a full set on that bottle over there?
What was he doing with baby oil?
Are you finished with this?
Yes, sir.
Anybody who works out 5 hours a day, I want to know about. Okay, anytime.
Turn this off. Turn that off. And I'm no freak.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean that.
I warned her.
Say, it was a German accent, wasn't it? Swiss or German? Anybody you know?
No, and it never is. Irene, she had this thing for sociology. She liked interesting people. She'd bring them back here. Construction workers, firemen, garbage men. She said she wanted to get into their heads, see what they were thinking, get it all down on tape.
Where'd she find them?
All kinds of places. Today, last night, she said she was going to Golden Gate Park to jog. She probably met somebody there.
Was she more specific than that? You know, Golden Gate Park's a pretty big place.
That's all she said. But, she liked that little lake.
Stowe Lake.
Yeah. I warned her about this over and over.
Do you have any pictures of her?
Yeah. She had some graduation pictures last weekend.
There were finger marks on her arms and her shoulders were dislocated. He must have just picked her up like a rag doll and shook.
Yeah, which takes a lot of strength.
Who works out 5 hours a day? Professional athlete?
I'm no freak.
What?
When you heard that tape, that word really triggered him off. Freak. Come on.
Joe?
Just a minute.
Joe, could I just see you? Will you stop it for a minute? I want to talk to you.
Is it about being late this morning?
Huh? No, it's about your work. Your work is good. I mean, it's great. I've never seen anybody work like that in my life. On the docks, you're the fastest.
Thank you.
No, it's
You don't understand. You're missing the point. The guys are a little upset with your work. You're putting pressure on them with your work.
You're kidding. I make it easy for them. The more I work, the less they have to work.
Let me explain something to you, okay? You're putting the pressure on me, you know what I mean? There's an efficiency experts here. They watch and they figure what goes out, you know? What you can do, we can't do, Joe.
Well, listen, I was hired here to work, right?
Right.
Okay, so.
But see, what I'm thinking is that maybe you would be happier if you found a place where you could work in your own way, you know?
My own way? What you're saying is I'm fired.
What I'm saying is that we have to worry about ourselves. We got our jobs to worry about. The guys, they want to stretch it out a little bit.
Stretch out, stretch out. Are you kidding? Stretch out. I'm here to work.
Will you,
stretch out.
Hey, what? Hey, Jesus Christ, take it easy.
That's what I call stretching.
Will you wait a minute?
You stretch out all you want.
Hey, Joe. Wait. Okay.
Say, this girl jogs around here quite often. Have you ever seen her?
10-4. Mike.
Thank you very much.
We just got a call. A guy named Garver with a possible lead.
Well, we're not doing any good here. Say, what's the word on the prints?
One set was hers. The others don't belong to anyone local. Zakulovich sent them off to Washington.
Well, let's take a look. Who's Garver?
Works for a neighborhood newspaper, the San Francisco Dispatch.
So when I saw they come off the presses this morning, I thought, boy, that sure does look like that girl my son and I saw in the park this morning.
What was she doing?
Just jogging around the lake. And then she met some guy, and they started talking and jogging off together.
Can you remember what he looked like? How was he dressed?
Dark blue sweatsuit, brown hair, and big. It looked like he was really in good shape. Late 20s. Well, I'm sorry. I wish I could be more help.
It can be. We'd like you to go downstairs and help our police artist do a sketch of his face.
Sure. Oh, well, there is one more thing, but I don't think it's going to show up on a drawing.
What do you mean?
Well, he kind of walked funny.
Can you show us?
Something sort of like this.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Sure.
Who is it?
That's me. Who do you think?
Well, rent day is Tuesday.
Oh, come on, Joe. I'm your friend. You know I don't come just to collect. Got another complaint about your clanking. What are you doing home? I thought you worked today.
Got fired.
Oh. What happened?
Tom, I'd rather don't talk about it, okay?
Okay. But, fired or not, rent is due next Tuesday.
Don't worry.
You want to get rid of that tension? Forget the weights. Bourbon will do it every time.
It's gonna do you into your grave, too. Don't you know that the body is sacred? When are you gonna start taking care of yours?
Oh, well, hey, let's look at it this way. My sacred body is worshiping the spirits, that's all. Tuesday.
Bob, I came up because I've got this suspect, no name, and he's pretty strong, I'm sure, in top physical shape.
Hey, Murphy. Not like that, huh? Hey, remember the man's trying to resist arrest. Yeah, that's better.
Don't kill him. Listen, Bob, this guy, he probably works out somewhere. Maybe, 5 hours a day. And I thought maybe you could help us figure out where he works out.
Hey, it depends, Mike. You're not really giving me enough. Different guys work out in different ways in different places.
You mean like a football player doesn't work out the same way a baseball player does?
Right, and a lineman doesn't work out the same way as a running back. He doesn't have the neck of a lineman.
Hey, Mike, why don't you show him how he walks?
Yeah. No, you show him. Go ahead.
Hey, very nice, Daniel, very nice. Hey, what do you call that?
Hey, come on. That's what the witness said.
I know. Listen, now you're giving me something I can work with. That kind of walk generally comes from somebody with overdeveloped lats. That's the muscle back up in here, back muscle. I would say you're looking for a weightlifter, maybe even a wrestler.
Well, what gyms would a guy like that go to?
For you, Mike, I'll make a list.
Officer?
Yeah, can I help you?
I would like to talk to somebody. It's about a crime. It's
No! Hey, you turkey's foot! I don't belong here. I need a doctor. Hey, give me a break, will
Okay, in the tank. Now, you wanted to report a crime?
No, I was wrong. I'm sorry. It was all a mistake. Oh, I'm sorry. Please, Mrs. Carson, I really need the job. You know I'm good at it.
Joe, you're the best. Best I ever used, but I'm worried. That uproar you caused about that dumb delivery boy.
He shouldn't have said what he did.
So he's called you a few silly names, so what? Maybe he was just jealous. The way you went after him, I thought you were gonna kill him.
Please, I promise you it wouldn't happen again.
No more mayhem. Promise?
I promise.
Just gonna have to learn to control that temper.
Sorry, Lieutenant. I've never seen him.
You're sure?
If he was as strong as you say he is, I'd remember him. Good-looking, strong guys can make a fortune in the wrestling game.
All right. If he's not the man I'm looking for, I'll send him over to you. How's that? Good. Okay, Pappy. Say, Pappy, come here.
Yeah.
When one of your guys want a massage, you give him liniment, don't you?
Oh, you bet. Some of these guys like these new compounds, but not me. I can't see it.
What about baby oil? Ever use baby oil on him?
Baby oil?
Yeah. I got good reason for asking.
Lieutenant, can you imagine these guys using baby oil? You know what I mean? You know, you're looking for a pretty boy, one of those Mr. America types. They rub the oil on, you know, to show off their meat.
Oh, very good. There. Now that's what I mean. That body has mass.
Well, you said we should draw what we see. And when what we see looks like that, it's a lot easier.
Judith, a word to the wise. Joe is a little flaky. Very strange guy. Very unpredictable.
That's refreshing. For 12 years, I was married to a guy that was so predictable you could die.
Well, you've been warned. Yes, officer. Take a break for a while, people, please. Joe, don't go.
Do you want to see what I've done with you?
Yeah.
People, it seems as if we have a problem about a car parked outside, in front of a hydrant. Does anybody know anything about it? Sorry, officer. Try the barber across the street.
Oh, yeah, I like that. It's beautiful.
I wish my ex had smiled like that at something I'd done. My name is Judith Winters.
Joe Schmidt.
Joe, why don't you come on back and try another pose for him for a change?
Okay.
All right, now, you know the rules. I don't have to do more reps than you, just the same amount. Then if I get lucky and do more than you wouldn't have any objection to, say, doubling your bet?
No hustling, Henry.
Hustle? Me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Sit down, sit down.
No, I don't know. But if I find him first, I'm gonna strangle him.
Preferred, Mr. Jenks, if you just call us instead.
Oh, sure. It's not only that he killed that girl. For 30 years, I've worked to make bodybuilding legitimate in the eyes of the public, so that they look upon us as something more than circus strongmen or guys that aren't really men at all. Then along comes a jerk like this. Let me show you something. Here. See that? My own International Bodybuilding Federation, with affiliates in 70 foreign countries. 2 million people in this country train with weights. 300,000 of them read my papers, use my courses, eat my food supplements.
Mr. Jenks, how many in San Francisco? How many who don't use your gym but work out at home?
I guess a couple of thousand or so, but they're mostly kids. Well, there may be some others, and if there are, and the members of the Federation, you'll find them listed in there.
What about other bodybuilding organizations? Are there any?
Of course, but they don't have the membership we have or the clout.
Can you get us their membership lists?
Well, it just so happens. There. I have to keep up with the competition in case there are any new endorsements I want to get.
Of course, Mr. Jenks. Say, do you mind if we borrow these for a while? We'll bring them right back.
Oh, go ahead.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for your time. Come on, Dan.
Thank you.
Hey, nothing personal. Consider it your initiation, friend.
Lieutenant! Lieutenant! Is it all right if I take a copy of that picture?
Oh, sure. There you are.
Thanks. Henry, why don't you stick to conning truck drivers and bars? This man came out west here for some serious training. Look, all you muscleheads, come here. Take a good look at this. The first one of you who can find out who this man is, I am personally going to hand over a big, beautiful $1,000.
You look a little tired.
2 hours posing makes you stiff.
Bet you could use a good massage and sauna.
Could afford it. You know, I only make $10 an hour, and sometimes I wish it could last the whole day.
You know, Joe, there are lots of different kinds of modeling. I've got friends in advertising. Could be you could make up to $100 an hour.
Really?
Come on, I'll make some calls.
Okay.
Come on in. Promise it'll be painless. Could you close the door? I won't hurt you.
Inspector, I'm sorry. He came in before we got the picture.
Must have given you some idea what he was here for.
Well, he just said he wanted to talk to somebody about a crime.
And you didn't get the chance to find out the details?
Look, there was a junkie being brought in, and he was kicking and screaming. And your suspect changed his mind and just ran out of here.
And you just let him walk out?
Well, I called you as soon as I saw who it was.
Okay, you're right. There was nothing you could hold him on. Look, it's been a little frustrating today. Was there anything else he said or did that could help us?
Yeah, he said he was sorry for bothering me, I guess.
Okay, thank you. Mike, too late. We missed out on a break.
Well, we've got one. The guy's name is Joseph Schmidt. The Army had his prints.
Is there a jacket on him?
Well, just a service record and a court-martial. Assault.
On a woman?
Well, we don't know. Just a general statement on charges and verdict. He spent 6 months in the stockade.
That's to dress Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Nothing from DMV. No local telephone, no utility listing, nothing. I tell you what, Sekulovich, you finish up with these, will you?
Okay, Lieutenant.
And Dan, you check the membership list of all the bodybuilding organizations.
Hey, Mike, how about calling the Pentagon?
Well, I was just going to do that. I'm way ahead of you.
I can't believe it.
That Keith was impressed? Why not? He's the art director for the biggest ad agency in San Francisco, and he thinks you photograph well. That's why he got the job.
$300 a day. That's more than I've made in a week. And more. He said there may be even more. Judy, I don't know how to say that. Thanks.
You just said it. Thanks.
Well, I better get back on home.
I guess you better. But call me tomorrow and let me know how the session goes, okay?
Okay. Bye-bye.
Help! My purse!
Hey, stop it!
Stop it! Please, let him go! I've got my purse. Thank you. I'm all shook. Can you take me home?
Okay.
Hated being locked up. That's probably why he ran from you. He's described here as being emotionally unstable, Lieutenant.
How unstable?
According to the Army psychiatrist, he was hypersensitive to criticism, especially from women. Short fuse, abnormal inability to cope with his temper. As an example, the court-martial. The complaint was brought by a woman.
His girl?
According to this, the complainant was a prostitute, by her own admission. Seems she made the mistake of laughing at Private Schmidt while he was her client.
Laughing at what? Was there something wrong with him?
No. No, he evidently had a very good physique, only she found him ludicrous.
Well, how did he assault her?
Shook her. After fainting from the pain, she found her shoulder dislocated, pulled from its socket, according to her physician's testimony.
Well, what did he use for a defense?
He didn't have one. All he could say was he was sorry.
Listen, you've been a big help, Colonel, and I thank you for it. Yes, I'll let you know how it comes out. What is it?
Okay, got it. Joseph Schmidt. That's Joseph with an F, member of the National Bodybuilding Club. It's right here, and so is the San Francisco address.
Well, let's go.
The Peregrine sculptors. Do you know they hardly ever had any models pose for them? They watched women at home and athletes play, and that's why all the statues you see with women in robes and men look like this.
You really are an aficionado. Kind of a fan of Greco-Roman art.
Well, guys like me, we like to look like the statues. Means that we have to know about it.
So you want to look like the ancients thought a man should look, and you use your body as your own clay.
You do understand.
But what made you get into it? All the time and effort, all the lifting of weights?
You know, when I was a little boy, my family moved over here from Austria, and I hardly spoke the language. And I felt out of everything. I was never the best student. I also wasn't a great athlete. And, but when I started picking up weights, something happened. I started getting good in it. I mean, really good. And so I stuck with it. And I started learning everything about diet and about nutrition and exercising. And I felt someday I could be the best.
Aren't you?
Well, no. But if you want to compare, I know where to go. There's a contest today at 4 o'clock. Mr. San Francisco. You want to see it?
Are you in it?
No, I never did this before. Posing in front of a whole audience.
Joe, you've got to have more confidence in yourself. Why don't you enter the contest? I think you'd be marvelous.
I haven't trained for it, and I think it's too late for them to accept me.
There's only one way to find out. An artist has to show his work, or where is he?
Let me think about it.
What are you thinking?
Yeah, that's him. That's him, all right. That's Schmidt. He's got a body like one of those charts in school. What is it? Anatomy, you know, with the skin all stripped away. Well, anyhow, I had to evict that big bicep almost a year ago. With all the clanging and banging going on in his place, well, it bugged everybody.
Did he leave a forwarding address?
Well, should have, but he didn't. That wasn't the kind of thing he cared about. The only thing that mattered to him was those dumbbells.
Mrs. Beauchamp, all that clanging, did he do his working out at home?
Why not? He had everything. All the weights and all the fancy equipment all over the place.
I understand that some of it was special made.
Yes, that's right. I remember when I complained, well, he told me how tough it was to get that stuff. He had to search all over the place for it, and then finally ordered it special.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay. I have to admit, Judith, I never knew you had a taste for the exotic.
There's nothing here to look down your nose at. These men are doing something that's very important to them.
Well, I just want to see the guy who can put that smile on your face.
So do I. I just never thought I'd see so much of it. 3, please.
You're the last store on our list that sells custom made.
And my wife will appreciate it when I tell her that's why I'm so late.
Would she appreciate it more if you told her the reason was murder?
Schmidt. Here we go. J. Schmidt, 1 professional abdominal board, custom order, 4 50-pound plates.
1140 K Street. Are you sure this is the last one?
It's in the latest batch of receipts. And see, no phone. Means the only way we could tell him the pulley was in was by mail. The address had to be right.
Apologies to your wife.
Thanks.
Number 3, Robbie Robinson. Number 4, Ed Corney. Number 5, John Isaacs. And number 6, from Trieste, Italy, Franco Colombo.
I can see why you didn't want me to have that 4th cocktail. You were afraid I'd throw up.
Number 7, the sensational Roger Callard from Los Angeles, Mr. Western America. Number 8, Joseph Schmidt.
That's the big one, huh? I can see the two of you together. Ferocious, jungle-like.
Quiet, Paul.
Joe, I'm sorry. I know how you must feel. I've got to talk to you, but not here, not now. Will you come with us? Paul and Reva, they want to buy you a drink and apologize. And then we can go to my place and we can talk. All right, Joe?
Well, I want to talk to you, too.
Serious. Look at all the weightlifting equipment.
I told you it wasn't here. Let's go.
Come on, you know you can beat me. Left hand, come on, son.
Here we go, ladies. How about that table over there?
Now, I insist on paying for the celebration. It isn't often I see an exhibition like that. What do you guys have?
That's the second time we've come close and ended up with nothing. Zero, zilch.
We've done all we can. The APB's got his name on it now. There's a unit staking out his apartment.
I know. We've done everything we're supposed to do, but get the guy.
Back to headquarters?
No, we're not going back to headquarters. According to that apartment manager, Schmidt is having a great time with some wealthy woman over on Nob Hill.
Mike, there's guys already looking for him.
So they'll welcome 2 more.
Next. 5 spot, please.
Well, we're sorry, Joe. I mean, it was a surprise. We had no idea what the contest would be like.
But you have to admit there's a humorous side to things. Okay, so I laughed. That's wrong. The narcissism involved, it got to me, that's all. Reva, it's getting late. I have a lot of work to do before the meeting tomorrow. Judith, you want a lift?
We'll take a taxi.
Okay.
Came in second. You proved yourself. Joe, you should be proud, not unhappy. Don't you see?
No!
Joe!
Yeah, give me the police. Yeah, this is Henry Wilcox. Listen, the guy you're looking for, the one that killed the girl over in the Mission Street district, I just saw him getting into a cab.
We're looking for a muscle man. Just got out of a cab a few minutes ago. The radio dispatcher said one of his cars just dropped off a passenger matching Schmidt's description with a woman 1904 Elmhurst.
Inspectors A1 to all units within the vicinity of 1904 Elmhurst.
Joe, you really looked good up there on that stage. I'm sure the only reason you came in second was because you don't have any experience. Next time...
Next time, where will you be?
What do you mean?
I didn't care about winning. Not when I first got up there. But when I started posing, I felt good. I felt I could win. And only not for me, but for you. Because I thought that you were one person who would understand. Only you didn't.
I thought that you would understand, and you didn't. I mean, what good is it being best at something when nobody understands what you're best at? If the only person I want to share this whole thing with laughs!
No, I didn't, I swear. Joe, I do understand.
It is progressive resistance. In progressive resistance, you start with something very light, then you go to something heavier like this, and then something much heavier, and then something like this, and then a lot of repetitions, because it's very important to do a lot of reps. Yes, that's the way. Yeah, that's the reason why we're warming up like this, so we don't get hurt. Don't get hurt. Makes it easier when we get to the heavier things, huh?
Okay, hold it. Take it easy now. Nobody wants to hurt you.
Stay calm.
Come on, Joe. We just want the lady. Made a mess
Relax.
here. Come on now. Come on, easy, easy. Give us the lady. Come on, Joe.
many times? How many times are you going to hurt people?
Until they stop laughing.
And how many times are you gonna feel sorry, Joe? You killed that girl from the park just the way you injured the one in Boston because you got mad, lost your temper. And how did you feel inside after you did those things? You felt sorry, didn't you? So sorry you went to the police, tried to confess. How many more times are you gonna feel sorry, Joe? You need help. Let us help you.
We can help you, Joe. Out. Get out.
I didn't mean to kill her. I didn't mean to.
The law will understand that. Joe, I won't laugh. Neither will a judge.
You saw it there at the contest, didn't you? How good I was. I could have been a winner. I could be a winner.
Nobody's gonna laugh at you, Joe.
Henry, here's the reward I promised you, $1,000.
Mr. Jinks, I hate to make waves, but I distinctly recall you promised money.
That certificate's as good as $1,000. Money? For any Jinks products or towards what you owe for membership in my gym.
Can he do that?
Lieutenant, what about Joe Schmidt? What's going to happen to him now?
Oh, the DA will probably charge him with manslaughter.
What about a psychiatrist or something to help straighten him out?
There'll be psychiatric studies, too. Don't worry, your empire's safe.
Ah, but I do worry. You see, I've seen some pictures of Schmidt. He looks pretty good. With a few years in the joint with nothing to do but work out. He'll be a winner when he comes out.
And you'd like him to be one of your winners.
New faces, new testimonials. That is the game.
Thanks for your help.
Nice meeting.
Yeah.
Jenks Sports Palace.
Say, Lieutenant, Inspector, how'd you two like to use that great gym in there? I might be willing to part with this reward at a substantial discount.
Well, to tell you the truth, Henry, after seeing all those guys in there, Dan and I were just saying we are out of shape.
Yeah, so far out, we decided it was too late to do anything about it. So enjoy.
Hey, Jim, man. Hey, I got a deal right here. It's a Sports Palace, $1,000. I'll let you have it for $500.
How about a Sports Palace?